Hello everybody, my name is Gabriel. Today I will be delivering to you a presentation to express the topics of human trafficking. A serious problem in the US as of right now is human trafficking. So, without further ado, let's get started. Human trafficking is the act of forcing people into labor or sexual acts with little to no pay. This is the main reason why human trafficking is very illegal, as stated in the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which states that slavery or involuntary servitude is illegal unless it is a federal punishment. It is a violation of basic human rights and a serious crime that should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. The number of people prosecuted under charges of human trafficking has over doubled between 2011 and 2021, making 1,197 in total. By the end of 2021, 1,667 were serving prison time for human trafficking. Currently, the U.S. Department of State is recommending an increase in efforts to address labor trafficking in the U.S. An important law regarding human trafficking is the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, which was introduced in 2000. It includes protection, prevention, and prosecution, as well as attempts to assist the people that have been subjected to human trafficking. This new law is used due to previous laws not being enforced or cracking down on trafficking. In order to help combat future occurrences of human trafficking, the State Department came up with a national action plan that outlines a 3-year approach to stop human trafficking. This plan includes actions to strengthen the prosecution of traffickers, enhance the protection of the victims in human trafficking, and other methods of preventing more trafficking from occurring within our borders. One of the most important court rulings about human trafficking was the 1988 case United States v. Kominsky, which questioned if protection from forced labor is guaranteed. The 13th Amendment extended to psychological coercion. The Supreme Court decided the 13th Amendment did not extend to psychological coercion, which caused Congress to retaliate by broadening the definition of forced labor to psychological coercion. As of January 2023, about 49% of adult Americans rank sex trafficking as one of their top 3 concerns in crime. 55% of younger Americans ranked sex trafficking as one of their top 3 concerns in crime. Americans don't have consensus as to where trafficking is most prominent in America. As well as this, about 1 in 5 adults in America believe that there's a high risk of trafficking in their area. In July 2022, Norway passed the Transparency Act. This act aims to identify and assess potential negative impacts on human rights / decent working conditions in companies, publish an account of this by June 30th of each year, and respond to public requests about how a company addresses negative impacts on human rights and decent working conditions. This will force companies to be truthful, which can bring potential trafficking to light. As of 2023, North Korea is one of the worst offenders in human trafficking. Disregarding any attempts to solve it, the government has a policy of forced labor in prison camps, using forced labor to fund government operations. The Polaris Project is an organization dedicated to ending human trafficking. They have worked to identify situations, help victims and survivors recover, and help train people in spotting human trafficking, as well as educate people on the subject. QAnon, a far-right organization, seems to be against human trafficking. However, they make idiotic claims, often leading to misinformation being spread and lots of confusion and misrepresentation of human trafficking. They also could just be claiming to be against human trafficking to slander the left, but we cannot say for certain. In West Virginia, the West Fusion Center, in a collaboration with other organizations, local, state, and federal law enforcement, is committing time to find victims of people who were trafficked and provide help to those who were trafficked. Ever since taking office as Massachusetts Attorney General, Andrea Joy Campbell has worked to reduce human trafficking, sharing materials to educate and inform people about human trafficking. She also wrote a letter in support of H1579/S983, an act to strengthen justice and support for sex trade survivors. The Enhancing Detection of Human Trafficking Act is a bill that has not yet been passed. If it is passed, it will force the Department of Labor to train employees on how to spot human trafficking. This would be beneficial, as human trafficking would be cut down on by these employees. Unfortunately, human trafficking scandals are becoming more common as time progresses. The government is still trying their best to combat human trafficking incidents, but depending on how well strategized these scandals are, it is impossible to uncover the scandal unless the victim escapes and tells an authority. Nonetheless, the government is still doing everything they can to prevent further incidents. Thank you for sitting through this presentation. Here are our sources.